Hey guys, what is up? It's Giovanni. This is the third and final lesson. And this lesson is for those of you that are a little bit more ambitious and you want to get the highest quality girls possible. You're not satisfied with just cute, okay girls. You're like, I want the best, okay? And as an Asian guy, how do you do that? I'm gonna give you my secrets in this lesson. Now first, let's define like high quality girls. Look, some of my clients like short, curvy Latinas, right? In which case, I recommend they go to salsa clubs and salsa dancing lessons. So you're entitled to whatever you're attracted to. When I'm talking high level girls, what I'm referring to is girls that have a lot of competition in the marketplace, right? I don't determine what the marketplace is, but basically a marketplace is supply and demand, just pure economics. And these girls are usually Instagram models, actual models, A-list, B-list, C-list models, actresses, celebrities. Perhaps she's the most attractive girl on your campus. She's the prom queen in your high school. She's that girl at work that the CEO is dating or other guys have a crush on, right? She's the highest hierarchy girl that other guys are competing for. And in order to get her, you have to have an unfair advantage or some type of advantage over your competition, okay? That's how I define a high competition girl. Now, when I started out, I was going out, here I am trying to look cool. I don't. And when I went out, I just saw all these like cool white guys, in their plaid shirts and I'm with their like tables. And I'm like, how do I even like get to that? It seems so foreign. They're all having so much fun. They all look so beautiful. And I'm just this dorky Asian kid, right? Trying to be cool. And I was like, how the hell am I ever gonna compete with that? And I just had no clue at that time. And if you feel that way, let me reassure you that I felt it too, and it's okay. It's a normal feeling. All of us have gone through that at some point. Being Asian, being a minority in a country that is mostly white or predominantly white. So in order to date the highest women possible, I came up with a cultural convergence framework, and it encompasses these three areas that overlap: familiarity, pre-selection, and challenge. I will break these down very soon. But before I get to that, I also learned something else. That every interaction I had these three spheres, which was my style, my nonverbal communication and behavior, and my energy field. Everyone has an energy field that they can actually project. It's actually pretty powerful once you understand how that works. And I realized that to have this unattainability frame, close that gap between the perceived social value that I had, where I could game at the same level or higher compared to the girls I wanted. And once I had my style down, my energy and my behavior, it just became a lot easier to implement the cultural convergence framework. You can learn more about how to improve your style and nonverbal behavior cues in my course, Seduce with Style. The link is to the right in the About section, link.highintegrityskills.com, okay? You can check it out anytime. If you want a discount, just DM me. So let's assume that you have your basic style, your basic nonverbal communication, and you're generally a somewhat positive guy, right? You have energy, behavior, and style up to a point where it's acceptable. You're actually getting like normally cute girls. How do you get to that next level? The first step is the law of familiarity. In order to illustrate how this works, let me tell you a quick story. When I got to San Diego, I would go out at night, and one night I saw this girl. She was beautiful and she was handing out flyers, and I just stopped and I talked to her. It was kind of drizzling rain, and I just like, hey, you looked interesting and I wanted to meet you. She's like, yeah, cool. She's like, she's kind of working, and I didn't give up, and I was like, I'm new in town and I'm looking for some cool places to go. And then she's like, I just moved here as well. I'm like, cool. I held my frame and I continued, and then we had like a really good conversation. I learned her name was Shelby. She was just moved into town and she was just handing out flyers, and I didn't hit on her directly. Okay, I knew that in order to get higher level girls, I needed to understand their world. So I befriended her and she became one of my good friends, Shelby. I call her Shelbs. So that's Shelbs. Let's table Shelbs as one of my friends. There was another situation. Her name was Alexis. And Alexis is one of these high powered, like blonde real estate agents. I met her through a friend of mine. I didn't give her a lot of value. I would just, yeah, cool, nice to meet you. She ended up coming to one of our house parties. I was always polite to her. I never hit on her. And then one night at one of these parties, it was like a download bar. And eventually she hit that download bar where she's like, this Asian guy doesn't care. He's just treating me like a normal person. And, she was kind of tipsy. They were partying. It was fun. And she was just like, I'm going to sleep with him. And that just automatically happened. And then I kept in touch with all her friends who were all pretty cute girls in San Diego. So over time, I had these connections. And then I realized that all you need is one social connector, or someone who becomes a social connector that gets you results, right? So Alexis ended up introducing us to all of her other friends who lived in San Diego. And Shelbs, in like 2 to 3 months, very quickly, she became like one of the top bottle service girls at Omnia. So, she appeared like in a bunch of videos and stuff. So anyway, she ended up being one of my connects. And then through her, I met like other bottle service girls. I didn't date all of them because I knew that a lot of them had like boyfriends already. They had their established social circles. But what I was able to gain was, number one, the social proof from going to social events, just knowing these girls. Number two, having the pictures for my online profile and my social media. And then number three, understanding how they thought about things, what was important to them. The high level girls in San Diego, they don't really care that much about advancement other than like meeting the right guy and having like a good beach style life. The highest level girls that I met in LA, they're very business oriented. They're like, how do I get my modeling career to the next level? And they're just looking for someone that doesn't interfere with that can give them like a safe place outside of that, okay? So you have to understand like how these girls think at that level. And the best way to do it is just to befriend them. And eventually, right, if you spend enough time with them, they'll get to a point where they just sleep with you or they introduce you to other women. And eventually, based on the law of numbers, one of these girls will find you really attractive. And that's how you date girls at that level. At that level, you're not just going cold approaching, hey, I like you, you're cute, hang out with me. A white guy can go and do that, right? A good, tall, good looking white guy. But as an Asian guy, you have to establish familiarity first. As you get to know these girls, you're gonna learn industry lingo like MUAs or industry night, right? There are little things that you say that just like very quickly tell someone that you get their world. And you're gonna learn like where these girls hang out. It's like at the back of a hotel bar or like they're hanging out. There's this one area in like Chateau Marmont that like no one else goes to. It's like you'll never know. You'll never know until you hang out with them where they are. And more importantly, what time they go, right? So when we had access to this in LA, it was like I knew where to go in LA to meet these really classy high level girls that like most guys didn't know about. So this is like insider tribal knowledge that you wouldn't get if you weren't friends with these people. So with that familiarity then comes pre-selection, because over time, once you make friends with them, you're now pre-selected. Now, when you talk to other girls like that, you're like, oh yeah, my friend, works at, Omnia. So now it's like very quickly you can establish through your verbals and your non-verbals, because it's real for you, that you get her world, that you understand the pressure she deals with as a beautiful girl. The sub-communication is I'm connected and we're all connected. I'm not some random Asian guy who came out of the library to talk to you. We're just Asian friends and I'm just like trying to like dip my toe in the water. I'm like, no, I understand your world. Like, cool, man. Awesome. By the way, we're having dim sum on Sunday, right? One of the things I did was I invite these girls I meet to dim sum to meet my Asian friends. A lot of them are strong Asian businesswomen and they have a great time too, right? Because they're learning cross-culturally from each other. And then I'll invite my Asian friends to industry night. So I became the bridge from the East and the West, and I added value to so many people, right? The real estate girls would meet clients. They would meet other guys that they weren't used to meeting. The other girls would get to experience Asian cuisine. They get to go to Asian events if they're curious about that. They get to go to board game nights. I invite them to modeling nights, everybody that I know. So they're getting so much value from me that I get so much value back, right, from them posting on my wall, tagging me in photos. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle after a while, especially once you're like about 2 to 3 months you're into it. It's just like you become part of that world. When that happens to me, I'm just like, cool, like it no longer affects me anymore, right? I'm just a social connector. That's my goal. And when you're a social connector, naturally girls within your sphere of influence, some of them will find you attractive. They will come and go, like in and out, leads in and out. And eventually you just get conversions all the time. It's like whenever I wanted to sleep with someone, it was available. It's not my goal, but it was just a nice to have. Then I started using the challenge frame. And I realized that when I use a challenge frame, I couldn't do it right away because people would think you're weird or you think like you're an asshole. You ever wonder like how some guy can just say the same thing and then another guy says it and it's like, that guy's a creep, but this guy's cool, right? You see those videos on YouTube. And a lot of times it's like, oh, because, Christian Grey is good looking, but if he wasn't, he'd be a stalker and breaking and entering, he'd be in jail right now. But here's the truth. When you present a challenge frame, if you already have familiarity, if you already have trust from that, if you already have pre-selection, you already have the perceived value from that. Then when you challenge someone, they find you attractive. So one of the things I would say is, besides this, like what do you have going for you besides your looks, right? Or a really good line I used to use in LA is, if you couldn't talk about your Instagram following, if you couldn't talk about your YouTube channel, if you couldn't talk about your modeling career, what's one thing that you're really proud of? Or what's one thing that would make someone want to be friends with you? And you could see the girl's eyes. She's like, and then she'll think of something. And the funny thing is, these stories are so interesting to me. Like, oh, my grandma, I took care of her when she was older. Oh, my dog, I'm such a good owner. And then whatever she says, I always say, that's really cool. Like, I can see that. That's really important to you. And because of your dog, because of your grandma, you develop a level of empathy that other people don't have. And you can see the feeling like, yeah, because guess what? You're appreciating her, right? This is all real. You're appreciating her for something that she did that's not related to her looks, okay? And this is the key to getting girls like this, because every hot girl, no matter how hot her Instagram pictures look, no matter how much you masturbated to her, okay, whatever. At one point, she was just a little girl who looked up to her dad, who wanted to be loved, who wanted to be admired for her beauty, but also who she is as a person. She just wanted to feel safe and comfortable and just attracted to someone that would love her for her. So when you can take that superficial stuff out of it and you really challenge her in this way, you become a guy that very, very few girls ever meet. When you can do this with multiple girls, then you have a buyer's frame where it's like, why should I choose you? Because there are a million girls in LA that are attractive, right? It's almost a commodity almost, but like, what makes you different, right? So when you say it like that, you already have that value in the pre-selection and she's comfortable with you and you can joke. Then when you say that, she's just like, huh, interesting. What is interesting about me? So now that challenge becomes a valid challenge. It's not just like some empty challenge or you insulting her. It comes from a context context of you saying, seriously, I have a lot of options, but why should I choose you? And because you have a lot of options, all your nonverbal communication, your micro expressions, your energy field, all of these nonverbal attraction triggers that come across naturally become so congruent, right? Because now you are a guy who actually, in reality, has a lot of options. Now, when you're starting out, you don't have a lot of options, but I encourage you to see a vision for yourself. There's what we call lag time. In the future, if I continue on this path, right, up and down, but it's going up regardless, I'm gonna get to a point where there's a tipping point and that becomes my reality. You have to have faith in this, okay? And if you don't, join our weekly masterminds where we can reinforce this and I can give you the tactical tools to move along this path faster for yourself. So you get to that tipping point a lot faster and get the results that you want in record time. There are some social hacks. There's an online platform that reverses the gender ratios that has girls messaging you. I teach that to my private clients. DM me if you're interested in learning how to do that. Especially if you're a guy who like makes a lot of money, but you don't have time or you don't want to deal with like chasing girls or swiping. This is a social hack that I discovered that's super powerful. I've taught it to entrepreneurs making, 8 figures and they've like thanked me for it. There are geography hacks because I traveled so much with my diplomatic dad that no one else knows about, where you can go and they're like, oh, they like Asian men or they appreciate Asian culture a lot more than say girls in the States. There's a club system that I can teach you that we used to use that's very efficient, that gets you free tables and a lot of girls. There's a social circle system I kind of talked about in the lessons, but I can give you more specifics depending on which city you live in and to optimize that process. And then there's an online automation hack that if you want like a stream of girls just like being able to date, there's a way to outsource that and we optimize that whole process as well. DM me if you want more information about that. If you're a successful Asian guy, I understand. You have a lot of other priorities. You want to handle your dating, but you want to do it in an efficient way. And this is something that I specialize in, that my team specializes in. DM me if that's you. Once you get this, you can date whoever you want. I have clients in their early 20s. I have clients in college. I have clients who are divorced in their 50s, okay, who own like major businesses. They just want to get this handled once and for all, and they want to do it efficiently. It took me 7 to 10 years to figure this out. Don't spend time backing your head against the wall. Just learn the efficient system from someone who's already done it. Learn what it feels like to have be the buyer, to select dates and to do it efficiently without spending a ton of time. So once you have attraction, comfort, and connection, right? What you have is attraction, connection, and then the third part, what Tony Robbins would call selection. Now you have the ability to select the right people. Usually women have the selection problem, but now as a guy, because you've optimized your funnel and you've reversed the ratios, now you have a quality selection problem, which is which girl should I make my girlfriend or which girl should I go on a date with? And that's a quality problem, my friend. Pick whoever you want, right? And you no longer feel this need to I have to spend money to do this, right? It's like my money is working for me efficiently. Maximum ROI on attraction points. You're not showing off your money or attracting gold diggers oh, here, look at how much money I have. No, it's look at how cool of a guy I am and like me for me. Okay. There's really no risk and high reward. And what's the most common thing I hear from clients who are divorced is that I wish I knew this before I met my ex-wife, because picking the wrong girl is so painful. So many divorce, so many years of wasted time. I had a friend once, I don't want to tell you his name, but he's a very successful entrepreneur. And he said, I wasted 20 years. My wife polluted my gene pool. I love my daughters, but because I picked the wrong girl, she polluted the whole gene pool. And now I have to deal with her nonsense. So don't make that mistake, man. Don't make the mistake of picking the wrong girl. Pick the right girl. Build a efficient system for yourself, learn the basic skill sets, and just get this handled. Move on to other areas of your life. Just have a great life, make more money, get more healthy, do more other stuff. But now do it with 2 girls in your life, or do it with that one girl that you picked, that you know is right for you, that you don't feel compromised or that you settled for, okay? DM me if you want any help with any of this to get to that next level. Please post an intro in the group. I think it will really help you. Talk about who you are, where you're from, what you're looking for out of this group, and more importantly, where your challenge points are right now. The more you talk about your challenge points and what you want from this group, the more I can tell where your gap is, and I can send you the right resource to bridge that gap and get to that next level, so you start getting results that you feel good about. My name is Giovanni. It's been a pleasure teaching you these lessons, and I'll see you soon in the Facebook group.